everybody, welcome back to my show, To Be Determined. And today, our guest is Mr. Tate from the Episcopal Academy. He is the head of diversity and inclusion. And today, we're going to just talk about what's real and what he does and what he hopes to do for the EA community. So, Mr. Tate,
Oh,
how are you?
doing well. Doing well.
Alright.
Thanks for having me.
So, I know we talked about how great the school looks, and now it's a private institution, right? It's a private institution. It's predominantly white. What's the relationship like when it comes to the economic differences in students, whether it be black, white, Latino, Asian? Like, how do the kids interact based off of their economic status? Does that change or?
So, based on just anecdotal evidence,
Right.
yes, it changed. Our students tend to hang with each other who fall into similar socioeconomic statuses.
Right.
However, the stigma is students of color on financial aid. And the fact that 32 to 35% of all of our school is on financial aid. The fact that black students make up, I'd say, 8% of our population.
Right.
There's no way they can equal 35%.
So somewhere along the line,
Exactly.
things are getting skewed.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think it's the stigma and the misconception of typically media
Yeah.
that state, oh, black and brown people are more.
Yeah. They're on
know,
financial aid.
They're on financial aid.
Yeah.
They're on welfare. They're
Yeah.
on X, Y, and Z assistance. We'll say.
Yeah.
But that's very swayed, and that's very much a stigma that we need to combat, and
Right.
we need to acknowledge, and we need to open these doors of conversation to understand and help people remember. Like, no, that mathematically
Just doesn't add up.
that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I just actually heard a report that stated that in San Francisco, there are, I can't remember the numbers. Of the arrests made in San Francisco, 40% of them are black people.
Mm.
Black people only make up 10% of San Francisco.
So how is that? How is that adding up?
Exactly. So it's a matter of disparity
Yeah.
and injustices more so than,
Yeah. That's crazy that you bring that point up because like a lot of times you see stuff on social media and it really is social media.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you always think about some old movies where it's like this person, like a black person walks into a store, they're gonna steal something.
Right.
But it's like, bro, no, I just came to the store to get some milk or something, and it's scary, but the conversation does need to happen where people can realize that stereotypes are made, but they need to be broken because those are made by the same people who felt African booty scratchers, like all that type of stuff. It's just like, and now people are like, oh, Wakanda forever. Well, 2 seconds ago you were just saying that you didn't want to be a part, but it's just the world.
But that speaks on the power and of that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are kids of all different races and ethnicities that have been putting on their Black Panther mask.
Yeah.
And that's a powerful piece.
Taking pride in it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because that will, although it was a superhero movie, it was made by an extremely prominent company.
Yeah.
Which helps kind of dissuade some of those stereotypes.
Exactly.
Because, hey,
Exactly.
if they're saying this,
then it should be
I
true.
can buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And I love that movie, by the way. That was a good
movie.
It's a great movie.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Because people tend to not realize the implications of different socioeconomic status. There's people who tend to leave campus and go get food.
Right.
We offer meals into your tuition.
Mm-hmm.
So your meals are free on campus. But
no.
Some people don't want to eat that meal, so they go off campus.
To the Wawa.
To the Wawa,
Yeah.
right, which can run anywhere from $5 to $12.
Not to mention gas.
Not to mention gas, and not to mention a ride,
Yeah.
which not everyone has a car. So
Right.
the assumption of, oh, you can just drive there though.
Nah.
oh, you can just give me $10. That can mess up someone's family's budget,
Yeah.
not just their own budget,
Yeah.
you know. So I think knowing that and understanding that is more of a top-down thing. So I think our teachers need to be aware of that, as
Yeah.
well as our students, as well as the families, to reiterate, you know, not everyone is going to be in a six-figure bracket.
Right.
So
It's
we need
impossible.
right, exactly. So we need to make sure that our students who aren't feel accepted and comfortable in our community.
And not feel like they have to go to Wawa.
Exactly.
Make the trip, even though
Exactly.
they can't make the trip.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny you bring that up too, because now I'm thinking about like sport and how, because I know when I was there, the mixture between sports and like actually being in class was completely different. You know, like you could be literally talking to the same guy for like 35 minutes. Do you see sports as an avenue where the economic groups can connect because of that bonding period that they have to, you know, be together, and then how does that how does that translate in the classroom, at least from your experience and some examples of stuff that happened?
So I think a lot of that has to do with the bond that you build as a teammate.
Right.
You know, that helps kind of build that sense of community, build that bond. We have AIS, Haverford Day,
Oh yeah.
which helps a ton.
So everybody's there.
So everyone is there. Everybody is, as a community, is, you know, cheering each other on and, you know, getting this rivalry going deep.
Right.
And, you know, that builds a huge bond, especially with winning. Helps as well.
Oh, winning is you win is over.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So winning helps as well, but having that sense of community, we need to. I think the coaches and us as a community, we need to encourage them to continue these conversations, not just on the field, but also in their lounges or in the cafeteria or, you know, in the library or, you know, definitely in classrooms.
So like for the incoming students, do you think there's a way that they can know how to keep this connection going without like step away and saying this is not me?
Well, thankfully we have the freshman seminar group coming up. So we're kicking that off, and hopefully that'll breed a lot more conversation and willingness to open up amongst each other. I know the Outward Bound trip that was started years ago is helpful. It helps to kind of build that bond because you're going through the struggle together.
Yeah.
And not many times there aren't many times that people go through the same struggles.
Yeah.
When you're out in nature, you're pretty much on even playing ground. So I think that helps. I think, again, my office is pretty much a haven for that. If you want to come in, not if you want to, you should come in.
Right.
Because it's just a place to be yourself and to have genuine conversations.
Right.
And it's not for any one particular type of person. It's just for people to come in and feel comfortable and know that there is a space on campus that you can be you.
Yeah.
You know?
No questions asked.
No questions asked, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's also important. People have to realize that they can be themselves without having to fit into the square peg, like you said. And I don't know. For me, I would say that, you know, being at a school that is predominantly white, you tend to feel as though you have to fit into that square peg because that's where everybody else is. And it really takes a strong individual, a well-minded individual, to be able to take themselves out of that square peg and put them back in the circle where they belong. You know, and I don't mean that you need to stay away from everybody else who is doing whatever else, but like you can know that who you are is enough to succeed, is enough to be where you are. You deserve to be where you are right now. Like, and that's what people have to realize.
And we have to have people there that can meet you where you are. That's the big thing. If people don't feel comfortable moving or being themselves or knowing that people are there to allow them to be themselves and to explore themselves, you know, because you're coming into high school at 14, 15.
Oh my God.
Like, you don't really know who you are.
Yeah.
and you're really going to grow and you're really going to explore yourself. And you need to be open and willing to do that. But we also need, and hopefully we have advisors and, you know, people they grow and flourish.
Do you think that a PWI is beneficial for kids of color? And I mean, like, in the real world, like, just, is that good?
I'm going to say yes, for the fact that, well, yes, if the school is representative of the actual population.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
So that's, America is a PWI.
Exactly.
So if our students are getting this opportunity, whether they're Black, Asian, Latinx, biracial, to be in the space with a community that actually represents America or represents a college that they're going to go
Right.
to, that will help them be able to navigate for the rest of their lives.
Mm.
But I also think it's a disservice to say that it only helps our students of color.
Right.
It also helps our white students because that helps them
Now they know
be
how
able to
interact,
navigate
yeah.
and interact and grow and communicate with people who aren't just like them as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's very mutually beneficial for anyone that is able to go or anyone that chooses to go
Right.
to a school that's a PWI, primarily one that's, you know, similar to EA
Yeah.
or Sinus.
Or
Sinus.
Yes. It's
where
literally the same.
you know, you get to be in this environment and learn and grow and communicate with people who aren't from the same backgrounds as you, and be able to navigate that into your workforce once you graduate from school.
Exactly. So you already have the tools to succeed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's how I feel about it. You know, it's important, but it's also it's a two-way street.
Mm-hmm.
It's a two-way street, and the sooner you realize that, the sooner you can propel yourself further in life.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying like, you know, because like when you think of when I think of HBCUs, it's like it's completely different.
It is. It definitely is.
Completely different, but it's not the real world. You see what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love my HBCUs.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. It's
I
just,
love it.
Yeah.
Because it is, especially if you have spent the majority of your life in a PWI,
Right.
being around like-minded folks that look like you and that think like you is a super powerful thing.
Yes.
I mean, you're going to have to transition back once you graduate
Exactly.
to what you were doing.
And I feel like that's going to be really hard to get back in the swing because it's like,
right.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to thank you.
You're very welcome
for
Thank
coming
you.
out
Thank you
today.
for the invite. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I think it's important that we talk about these issues. I think it's important that your incoming freshmen learn about these issues at a very young age so that they can be better suited for the life that they're about to, you know, embark on, because it's a long road, and where you are now is the rest of the world. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
For all of you, thank you for staying with us today and listening to our conversation. If you want to add to our conversation, please just like and comment below.
Thank you.